Let's get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. We got Joe Rogan talking about the Super Bowl and the Taylor Swift conspiracy swirling around the Super Bowl. Now, they're also going to be talking about, that's Joe Rogan and Brett Weinstein. They're also going to be talking about the left and how the left can't meme, why they can't be funny, why they have no humor. And I have a good theory into that myself. And then they're going to be touching on a little bit of misinformation and malinformation and things of that sort. So let's get into that. Springboards into a conversation that we're going to have. I have 5 clips for you. They're all about the Taylor Swift conspiracy. So one is a compilation of the mainstream media defending Taylor Swift with all of their might and completely attacking anybody who's a Republican. Then we have some mainstream people just talking more about the theory and how silly it all is. And then, oddly enough, we have someone who is a part of CNN that makes a video that completely dispels everything they've been saying and actually proves the theory correct that she could be paid by the Democratic Party or just in cahoots with them in general to actually sway the election towards Joe Biden. I don't know how this guy got away with making this video. I don't get it, but he did. And then I have 2 videos. Please watch until the end because these 2 small clips actually really support the theory that something is up. I don't know what, but something is up. It's a connection to Taylor Swift and the mainstream media machine and the connection to Taylor Swift, the number 13, and the Super Bowl in general. Wild stuff. Just come with me on a little content ride. Don't forget about I am Coach Whoa, what is this? How Taylor kisses Travis. What? Who did this? Hey. I don't know who did that, guys. Don't forget about I am Coach Colin. You guys know we have the greatest anti-establishment brand known to man. If you want a discount code, it is I am Coach Colin. All capital letters, all one word, 1 L in the name Colin. Let's get into this clip.
Gotten kind of calm, so I was hoping, I looked out the window of the hotel this morning thinking the weather might help us. Nope, boring as can be.
It's beautiful, birds chirping, well, who knows what lies on the horizon. I did not watch the Super Bowl, but I got a ton of messages from people that watched it. They're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, the Super Bowl was a gigantic propaganda campaign, and there's Pfizer ads and weird woke commercials. And
It was bizarre. I did watch it. You know, I had nothing else to do, and I probably wouldn't have watched it otherwise. But I did watch it, and it was like some running inside joke. You had to know who these people were in order to even just be with the flow. I mean, obviously the game is what it is, but all of the stuff surrounding it was like you're either embedded in this culture or it's kind of a head scratcher.
I did not see any of it, so I wasn't watching the Super Bowl last night. I was busy, so I don't know what happened.
Well, let's put it this way. I'm not a football aficionado by any stretch, but it was a pretty exciting game. I mean, it came down to the last seconds of overtime, and, it was a hell of a comeback. So
there are a ton of conspiracies about the way it was officiated and that the fix was in with Travis Kelce being sponsored by Pfizer and Taylor Swift's music catalog being owned by some mega corporation that has shady ties.
Well, I have to say, I was watching it and I didn't have a dog in the fight. I wasn't really rooting for either team. I was just trying to get the sense of, what the game was like. But I did find myself in the end rooting against Taylor Swift.
This is the Biden thing that they posted.
After his bedtime.
Just like we drew it up, and it's Biden with these, red robot eyes. Why would they do that? Why would they make that? Like that, just that alone. Like, what are you saying? Like, what are you doing? Like, imagine that's the president of the United States. I want you to imagine Ronald Reagan, if social media was alive, posting a photograph like that, or Bill Clinton.
Well, I mean, I do know what they're doing, right? They have a very weak meme game, but they do have moments when they show some kind of spark in this regard, and I detest it. I think they have an obligation to be above this stuff and to not troll. But in a world where Trump is a political force, they're trying to build a game in the same arena, and they're going to get crushed. But that's why they did it. And obviously it's the machine that did it.
It's kind of amazing that the left can't meme. Because they're really bad at it. Because they're denying so many truths Like, in order to adhere to the ideology, you have to be so rigid in what you accept as truth. And there's so many things that just don't jive with that you can't really meme well when you're doing that. Like, what memes are is pointing things out and exaggerating them in a way where people kind of know that this is the case, and then you make a preposterous image and everybody laughs. But the left can't really do that because a lot of those memes are very offensive and funny.
Well, I think it's actually a window into not really the left. I mean, as you know, I feel myself of the left, but I don't relate to these people at all.
Nor do I. Something weird happened and we got kicked out.
Yeah, it got taken over by something diabolical.
Yeah.
And, what you're pointing to, it's the same thing. It has no sense of humor, right?
Right.
They laugh, but they have no sense of humor. They have no ability to juxtapose things so that you suddenly see something in the way something, a funny joke works. They can't meme because they're not really, this is some corrupt cabal behind the scenes that arranges a set of, policies that aren't coherent together because they're about something that's never been discussed with us. And so it's not a natural for, you can't really build a culture around it because it's incoherent to begin with. So
right.
they're bad at humor. Memes is a special kind of humor that has, arisen online. And the rules of it, actually, I wanted to talk to you about this. The rules of it are different from normal humor. I was trying to phrase something on Twitter today to make it funny, and I was realizing the difference between a tweet and, what I've seen you do in your club, right? Where in your club, you can actually structure a joke that isn't funny until 4 lines in,
right?
Because your audience isn't going anywhere.
Right.
On Twitter, you need to keep them on board with the tweet so they don't scroll to the next one, right? So there has to be some juice in the beginning in order to get to the punchline. But anyway, I'd be curious what you think about what the different rules are for humor in the different contexts. But even just the structural differences is profound online.
Well, one of the best examples of how the tide has changed is the Babylon Bee out-onions the Onion. The Onion is essentially dormant.
Mm-hmm.
The Onion was like the dominant force of satire forever. And they were so good. And then something happened where there's like places they can't go. It's like a runner being limited to like a certain amount of miles per hour when that the speed that you're limited to cannot compete with the best runners.
I think it's actually a manifestation of a larger pattern that you can see very clearly when it's about humor and satire, and you don't see it as clearly elsewhere. But when The Onion was funny, it was a political force. And so it had to be targeted by things that it would have opposed, right? By things that it would have mocked and revealed. And so the fact that it's been neutered makes perfect sense if you imagine whoever it is that was galled by being revealed by The Onion. It doesn't make sense if you imagine that The Onion is in some competitive environment where it's trying to win market share by being hilarious, right? Why would you take a hot property like The Onion and ruin it? Well, the question is, are you trying to accomplish something political by getting rid of a powerful force, a force of ridicule, or are you trying to compete economically? And we see this in lots of places. Why would social media platforms embrace censorship, right? Everybody wants to be in a social media environment that's lively. It doesn't want one that's heavily constrained. And
right.
Yet these would-be competitors are behaving, they're colluding effectively to shut out messages that lots of people want to hear.
Do you think that that's because they're worried about government intervention and some sort of repercussions for not adhering to whatever guidelines the government wants you to do? I mean, this clearly seems to be the case when you look at like the Twitter files. The Twitter files, which has gotten almost no press in the mainstream media, or I should say the corporate-controlled media, but has been extensively covered by independent journalists because it's so shocking. Because you're seeing the government actively campaign to get factual information removed from Twitter because it's inconvenient. And most of the social media campaigns, most of the social media programs, whether it's the companies, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, or most of them have complied to a certain extent. At least limited the reach of certain things. Like there was one that Tucker did famously on COVID, and whatever government organization that was contacting them, I think it was the FBI, was trying to get them to take it down. And they wouldn't take it down, but they limited the reach substantially by like 50%. But they had ruled that they cannot take it down because it's factual. And so it's not like this was misinformation. So then it falls into this weird category that we've just recently heard, has recently entered the zeitgeist, which is malinformation. Malinformation is factual information that could be used in a damaging way.
I know. Heather and I have been screaming about this.
Malinformation, get out of here. Malinformation is such a wild thing. And here's the thing. A lot of this whole Taylor Swift thing, I think it falls under malinformation because there are certain elements of it that are very true. And because these elements are very true, it's getting attacked like crazy by the mainstream media. Now, obviously that's going to die down quite a bit because, you know, the Super Bowl's already been done and what these conspiracy theorists were saying actually came true, as it usually does. And I know anybody who's been around from 2019 to now knows that that's usually what happens. It's conspiracy for a few months, maybe even a few weeks sometimes. And then all of a sudden it becomes true and everybody forgets that they were calling it a conspiracy at one point. It's just the way it goes. It's really, really silly. Now, just to talk about quickly, I'm going to get into the Taylor Swift stuff right now. I'm going to show you this compilation, but just to get into what they were talking about in terms of the left can't meme. It's funny, just going to the tweet that Joe Biden made, or that somebody made, because Joe Biden doesn't know what Twitter is. Just straight up. Go ask him. Go ask him. If you're ever in front of him, say, hey, do you know what Twitter is? And he's going to be like, I've never seen that bird before. Is it nice? Is it like a falcon? He won't know. Trust me. He'll have no idea. It's funny that they put out a tweet that is just as divisive as they claim Trump is. Because that tweet, when you have the evil eyes and you're saying, just like I drew it up, you're saying to everybody who you think opposes you, everyone on the right, the MAGA extremists, you're telling all of them, I don't want you on my side. In fact, I'm as evil as you think. I don't need you. That's a very divisive stance to take. Like, imagine if Joe Biden instead was like, you know what, guys, I know a lot of you think, I know, it's a sentence that's well put together. He's not going to do that, but let's just, you're in La La Land. Imagine he was like, listen, I know a lot of you think that I am up to no good when it comes to the Super Bowl and Taylor Swift, and I don't know where this is coming from, but I just want to let you guys know, whether you're right or left, I'm for all Americans. So it's great that they won the Super Bowl, but I promise you I had nothing to do with it, and anyone who endorses me is only doing it because of the policies I have in place. That's it. Imagine he just did that. It'd be way better. I wouldn't believe it for a second, but it'd be way better. I'm just saying. Now, when it goes to the left can't meme, they actually can't meme, but here's why. They attack comedians. If you're in a cult of sorts and you attack comedians on a regular basis for jokes, obviously you're not going to have any real sense of humor that the masses are going to find funny. That's it. That sums it up. And another thing is, and I know this because I am a comedian myself, once you're a comic, you're a comic. And when you're a comic, you're a comic first. I have laughed hysterically at white comedians making black jokes that if you said it in an office, or if I said it right now, you'd be like, that's so offensive. And I've laughed my head off because I know this guy's a comic. I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to get a joke off. I love Jewish people. I got Jewish jokes. I love white people. I got a bunch of white jokes. A bunch. I got a bunch of Asian jokes. I have a bunch of jokes because when you're a comic, you're a comic. And what you're trying to do is be funny. So if there is a line that's going to be seen as offensive, you're willing to cross that line because you know if you can cross it and make people laugh, you can bring that group that you are talking about and everybody else together. You can make the subject comfortable, whereas when you don't talk about it, it's uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like black people and watermelon. I know that's the one you were thinking about. It's fine. It's fine. I love watermelon. I have a watermelon downstairs. I don't care. And chicken, whatever. It's great. They're both delicious. I don't care. But just dumb stuff like that. You're a comic. And there's no point where you go, that was too much. That doesn't happen. When I go to comedy shows, when I go to comedy clubs, there's at least with good comics who understand what's going on, no one ever goes, that was too much. You shouldn't have done that. No one. No one. It never happens. I know a guy that has an N-word joke, and he's such a white guy. And he says it twice. And when he said it, I laughed. I made sure to laugh because I knew no one was going to laugh because they were like, I don't have permission to laugh at this. But I made sure to laugh, and I made sure to laugh loud. And it was kind of funny. It wasn't super funny, but he's still working it out. But there's no space to be offended when you're a comic, you know? When you're in the realm of trying to be funny, you're just trying to be funny, and everybody just has to understand that. So I just wanted to say that really quick. Now let's jump into the Taylor Swift stuff real quick. She's definitely not a psyop, okay? Let's just make that clear, okay? Let's make that clear right now.
Lie to you. Tonight, the right going all in on baseless conspiracy theory that claims Taylor Swift's relationship with Travis Kelce and the Super Bowl are all rigged to help Joe Biden win the election.
This is what I think is going to happen. There's going to be like some type of proposal after the Super Bowl is rigged for the Chiefs. Then the two of these people become crazy levels of absolute fame, and then they use that in order to try and save Joe Biden.
Okay, tuned into any conservative media or scrolled through Elon's X Twitter in the past few days, you may have seen the latest conspiracy that has the far right absolutely losing their minds.
The Taylor Swift Super Bowl isn't making everyone happy because right-wing dinguses like Vivek Ramaswamy are claiming this whole thing is a conspiracy, suggesting that the Super Bowl will be rigged for the Chiefs to set the stage for Taylor Swift's Biden endorsement.
Guys, I mean, are you all okay? Seriously, take a walk. Shake it off, as she would say. I mean, as the right-wing conspiracy goes, stick with me here, Taylor Swift might just be an operative for the Democratic Party. Some, like Jesse Waters, who you just saw there, would even call her a psyop.
Jen, I understand the president's going to deploy Taylor Swift at this strategic time.
Oh my God.
I don't ask that, Taylor Swift.
I mean, are you up on the whole conspiracy theories?
No, but we might as
I'd
well.
rather
Every
not be.
other network's like bathing in conspiracy theories. Why can't we?
Taylor Swift is definitely...
Now, it's funny because me and my friend, I was showing my friend this the other day, and he was like, it's crazy that the media, because we're both older, right? So we can remember how it used to be, how they would try to get their point across in a more covert way. But nowadays, they're just like, let's just use all the CIA buzz terms. Forget it. Who cares? It's all out in the open. PSYOP, conspiracy theorists. Let's just use it all. It's so weird the way they go about this. But again, all of those videos that you just saw, I looked up the originals of each one. All of them were made, not kidding, on the same day. CNN, MSNBC, I think ABC, all of them were made on the same day. CNN made multiple of those videos on the same day, all made on the same day, all speaking in unison, Mockingbird type stuff. Really, really weird. Now, I'm just going to jump into this one really, really quick. This lady here is the queen. She's the queen, just so you know. Queen of propagandists. Erin Burnett, queen of propagandists. There's no one better. There's no one better at it.
Tonight, the right going all in on baseless conspiracy theory that claims Taylor Swift's relationship with Travis Kelce and the Super Bowl are all rigged to help Joe Biden win the election.
This is what I think is going to happen. There's going to be like some type of proposal.
Those comments do not come out of nowhere. There's a whole lot about this. In fact, the former presidential candidate and top Trump ally, and now a person seemingly campaigning for VP, Vivek Ramaswamy, tweeted, I wonder who's going to win the Super Bowl next month, and I wonder if there's a major presidential endorsement coming from an artificially, culturally propped up couple this fall. Just some wild speculation over here. Let's see how it ages over the next 6 months. Out front now, Basil Smikle, former executive director of the New York State Democratic Party, and Eric Erickson, host of the popular eponymous radio show. Okay, great to have both of you with us. So, Eric, I mean, honestly, okay, this is QAnon level, Pizzagate conspiracy theories that the Super Bowl is rigged and it's all rigged so the Chiefs last longer. So, I don't know, she gets a little bit more famous before making an endorsement. I mean, I can't even make sense of it all. But Vivek Ramaswamy's post was in response, actually, Eric, to one of the promoters of Pizzagate. Does this trouble you?
Of course it does. And let me be clear. First of all, I should admit I've been to 5 concerts in my life, 4 Taylor Swift and 1 Adele, all because my daughter wanted me to take her to these concerts. So I get the Taylor Swift fandom by my daughter and so many others try to get me to wear a Taylor Swift sweatshirt tonight, but I didn't. Here's what's going on. These guys aren't actually serious. but they know that people will believe them. And in the process, they'll get talked about, they'll get buzz. They might be able to cash in and grift on it. They're hucksters, frauds, and charlatans who are whipping people into a frenzy about something they don't even believe because they think it's funny to go viral and get attention and maybe convince some people who aren't very bright that it's happening. In the process, you've got Cori Bush investigated by the Justice Department today, and the right's not talking about that. They're talking about the most popular woman on the planet dating the most popular tight end in the NFL in the most popular sport on the planet. And they're just stupid.
And they're just stupid. Na boo boo. How about that? But yeah. So we go from conspiracy theorist, Pizzagate, QAnon, stupid, people who buy into it aren't too bright. I've seen this type of attack. 2019, late 2019, mid 2020. I've seen this type of attack before. And when that attack happened, everybody was like, those people are crazy. They're conspiracy theorists. And it turned out a lot of them were right. I'm just going to show just another clip, and then we're just going to go into the video of the man pretty much dispelling everything that CNN has just said. Let's go.
The Taylor Swift Super Bowl isn't making everyone happy because right-wing dinguses like Vivek Ramaswamy are claiming this whole thing is a conspiracy, suggesting that the Super Bowl will be rigged for the Chiefs to set the stage for Taylor Swift's Biden endorsement. What? That's whack, Jack. Come on.
Right-wing dinguses. You know, I'm just showing you just the level of attack that's going on. Because anytime I see this level of attack, I'm like, oh, okay, something's up. If anybody's getting attacked like this, just for no reason other than questioning something. Oh, I think this isn't all on the up and up. Because here's the thing. This is not the first time this has happened. There's somebody, there's these two kids, they're Gen Z. I did a video on them. They were two kids who were making these videos about how great Joe Biden is. And they were talking very negatively about Republicans. And they were talking about how Gen Z is going to vote for Joe Biden and be Democratic and blah, blah, blah. And they were talking about how dumb and old Republicans are. And then later, somebody figured out that the talent agency that they work for is being paid to the tune of 7 figures by the DNC. And they actually found paperwork that were showing that these two kids, these two influencers that were on TikTok, were being paid somewhere in the realm within 2 years of $300,000. And just by coincidence, the only content they were making, let's just say they weren't paid, but it's a real coincidence that the only content they were making was pro-Joe Biden, pro-Democratic, pro-Democrat content. And that's it. It's very, very interesting. And they got to interview Blinken. They went to the White House. We've seen this type of stuff before. Now, am I suggesting that Taylor Swift is getting paid? I don't think so. I don't know if they have what she would even want in terms of money. I have no idea what she would cost. It would be very hefty. But do I think that celebrities and sports figures go and push certain narratives? Yes. Do they do what they're told by their handlers and their managers? And yes. Are they in danger when they do not listen to their talent agencies and what they suggest they should be doing with their career? Yes. Are they entrenched in wild contracts that make it so they have to say certain things, or else maybe they don't get picked up next year when it comes to sports, or maybe they don't get the certain kind of tour venues that they want to get in terms of a musician? Yes. Now, is Taylor Swift a little more independent? Of course. But to think she has no handler, to think she has no manager, to think she's in full control of her career, you're crazy. There is not a musical artist out there that is actually in full control. And if you actually look deep enough and see that they have agents, just the language alone, they all have agents, they all have managers, that tells you enough. Just trust me on this. But also look into it yourself. I mean, like these contracts that they get signed into, it's like, yes, Taylor Swift did a lot of independent stuff. She recorded all her own albums, but they are still at the bequest. They're still under control to a certain extent. They have to go along with certain narratives. If Taylor Swift today decided to say, F this, I'm all about Trump, And she just crashed the Trump rally and said, "Sir, I'm here to support you." It would be crazy how she would get attacked. You'd be like, this poor girl. That's what would happen. She would get dropped. They'd be like, oh, her tour that sold out. All these venues dropped her because of what she decided to do. She just lost $500 million. All sorts of stuff would happen. We've seen it happen time and time again. So their best course of action is to stay within the lines that are drawn for them. Let's play this one.
With me here. A segment of right-wing media is convinced that the Kansas City Chiefs qualifying for the Super Bowl this year is actually a vast left-wing conspiracy. This plot all centers around the relationship between Kansas City tight end Travis Kelce and superstar musician Taylor Swift. A relationship the right wing now believes is actually a deep state conspiracy to elect Joe Biden.
See, here's the thing when it comes to this type of stuff. Why would they even care? If this is really stupid, if it's really dumb that these people think this, if it's really, really dumb, and I'm going to play the next clip in a second, and then I'm going to play that bombshell of a clip after this that kind of proves everything I'm saying. This guy goes over the numbers really well. If it's such a dumb conspiracy, why even give it the time of day? Why would you put it on mainstream news? Well, it's because anybody who watches mainstream news and takes in all of that stuff that they push on an everyday basis, those viewers are now equipped with talking points when anybody else comes up and says, hey, did you hear about, what they're actually doing, why those two are actually together? They'll have talking points already loaded into their head of what to say to that person. They'll already have a conception of what that person who maybe believes in this whole theory, they'll already have a conception of that person. They'll know right away. You heard the keywords. They'll be like, oh, this is one of those QAnon, Pizzagate, right-wing conspiracy theorists, not that bright, just playing stupid, grifter, huckster. That's one of those people that I'm talking to right now. It's exactly what they'll do. Now, let's get into the next clip. I get really pissed when it comes to this stuff. Sorry, let's go.
It started to get a little weird. After the Time cover came out, Trump advisor Stephen Miller tweeted, quote, "What's happening with Taylor Swift is not organic." Okay? And over in right-wing media, things moved to complete meltdown mode around this time.
And although neither the NFL nor Travis Kelce really needs Taylor around, apparently the Democrats do, because make no mistake about it, Taylor Swift is clearly a tool.
Taylor Swift is going to come out in the presidential election and she's going to mobilize her fans.
So is Swift a front for a covert political agenda? Primetime obviously has no evidence. If we did, we'd share it. But we're curious, because the pop star who endorsed Biden is urging millions of her followers to vote.
Guys, are you all okay? Seriously, take a walk. Shake it off, as she would say. As the right-wing conspiracy goes, stick with me here, Taylor Swift might just be an operative for the Democratic Party. Some, like Jesse Waters, who you just saw there, would even call her a psyop. That's right. And Jesse, I know you were on TV right now, but if you ever need a shoulder to cry on, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. The theory goes like this that they're all talking about. Taylor's popularity is being propped up and wielded by the powers that be in order to unleash her fans as Democratic voters and hand Joe Biden the 2024 presidential election. If it only worked that way. First off, yes, let's all acknowledge, Taylor Swift absolutely has unbelievable influence, just ask my 8-year-old, as one of the biggest stars on the planet. And why wouldn't Joe Biden want her endorsement? But where folks on the right make it super, super weird is by painting this as some sort of intricate, deep, dark conspiracy. Like, say, former presidential candidate and Trump surrogate Vivek Ramaswamy, who posted this yesterday after Kansas City punched their ticket to the Super Bowl. Quote, "I wonder who's going to win the Super Bowl next month, and I wonder if there's a major presidential endorsement coming from an artificially, culturally propped up couple this fall." What? What are you talking about? Also, he's clearly not a football fan. It could be that the game was rigged, Vivek Ramaswamy. It could be. As part of an elaborate scheme to get Joe Biden more votes. It could be.
It could be. It could be. But here's the thing about what Vivek said, right? Because remember, this was all made 2 weeks ago, all these videos. 2 weeks ago. So when they heard Vivek say this, they were like, what an idiot. What is he talking about? But they won. What he said is true. They actually won. Now, if she's going to come out and endorse Biden in the next 6 months or 8 months or whatever, we have to wait to see that whole thing play out. But so far, what he said is true. But they're attacking him like it wasn't true. And if this is just a dumb tweet by Vivek Ramaswamy, who cares? People put out dumb tweets all the time. But why make a whole segment about him? And I just like to point out that a Democratic operative is talking about Taylor Swift not being an operative. You know how amazing that is? She was just working for Biden and now she's on MSNBC. No connection there whatsoever. All right, let's just jump right into this other clip. So this guy kind of breaks down why this is actually true. And I'm going to speed it up a bit because I can't stand mainstream news. I'm going to just be honest with you guys, okay? I'm sorry. I'm going to speed it up just a touch, okay? Let's just play this.
Hey, it's me. And it's all about the data. We are spending way too much time wondering whether Taylor Swift is going to appear on stage in a cornfield in Dubuque next to Joe Biden. That is not what the Trump campaign is actually worried about, though admittedly that scene would not be great for them. No, what they're worried about, or should be worried about, is Taylor's data. A couple of facts. 279 million. That's the number of her followers on Instagram. 4.35 million, that's the number of tickets sold for the Eras Tour. $1 billion, that's the tour's record-shattering revenue. 26.1 billion, that's the number of Swift's global streams on Spotify last year. 200 million, that's how much tour merch has been sold so far. Just how popular is she? The only available gray t-shirt sizes remaining are in 3XL and 4XL. I know, I checked. I could go on and on and on, but I don't need to. Taylor knows. Taylor knows your social media interactions, where you saw her on tour, how much merch you've bought from her website. She knows the size of your t-shirt, the number of downloads you've made. We're embarking on an election cycle that will be A, the most expensive in history, and B, will see much of the money spent on micro-targeting. What's micro-targeting? It's the use of online data to tailor, pun intended, advertising messages to individuals based on the identification of recipients' personal vulnerabilities and interests. In order to target effectively, data is essential, and Taylor's got lots and lots of it. And on a demographic that is exactly what the Biden team needs the most: disproportionately female, young, and passionate. With truly the touch of a button, Taylor Swift is uniquely situated to use the data at her disposal to impact the presidential race. Overall, most of Swift's social media following, 61.5% female. On TikTok specifically, the fan base is more female, 80.8%, and younger, 62% in the 18 to 24 age group. According to polling by SSRS, as of October, that's after the Kelsey romance began, a majority of U.S. adults, 59%, identified as fans of Swift, 63% of women said so. Her fans are evenly divided 50-50 between Democrats or Democrat-leaning independents and Republicans or GOP-leaning independents. Among her fans of voting age, the largest group, 39%, are 30 to 49. 46% reported a household income under $50,000. And in 2020, after Swift posted on social media that people should register to vote, nearly 65,000 Americans ages 18 to 29 did so in the first 24 hours. The next day, that number grew to more than 102,000, 70% of whom were below the age of 25. When she posted again this September, she garnered another 35,000 registrations. This is not about a stage in a cornfield. This is about accessing a treasure trove of invaluable data. And that's what keeps the Trump team up at night in an era when most Americans are splintered into niche TV viewing. Consider that last week's AFC Championship win by the Kansas City Chiefs with Swift's boyfriend Travis Kelce in the middle of key plays and the pop superstar rooting him on united the country, insofar it was viewed by a record 55 million Americans. So what might be the value of a Taylor Swift endorsement? Joining me now is Craig Garthwaite. He's professor of strategy at Northwestern University's Kellogg School.
So I'll stop it there because we're going a little deep. But when you hear all that data that he just put out there, would it not make sense that Joe Biden, the Democratic Party, would want access to that person, would try to gain access to that person, and would use that person if they did get access to them? Kind of makes sense to me. Now, here's the thing. Some people, you don't even have to ask the question because you saw how many women identify as her fans. We all know that so many people use these celebrities and these musicians as false idols. And if they say to buy something, they buy it. If they say to go somewhere, they go. If they say to vote a certain way, they will vote that way. More often than not, we know that's the case. So if she has 63% of her fans are women, well, then they have a huge opportunity to have so millions of women vote for whoever Taylor Swift says to vote for. Now, why would they do this? I'm going to play there's 2 more clips, really interesting clips. Please watch until the end. But I'll just say this. Trump won Nevada. I could literally play an hour-long video of a compilation of just black people saying that they're going to vote for Trump. Trump has gotten the black vote. Not completely, I'm sure, because there's some who just still go with the old talking points of he's racist, and I don't know why, but somebody told me, and I'm going back to the plantation now. There are a lot of those people, Democrat, the Democratic plantation, that's what they call it now. But there's a lot of those people, but Trump is gaining the black vote like never before, even more so than before. I mean, people were talking about it before. Now it's way more because so many people, their quality of life went down, and they're like, it was better before when he was there. So now they just want their quality of life to go back up. It's not even because they love Trump. They want a better quality of life. So he has the black vote like never before. The reason that Biden would be doing this is because he needs these people more than ever. Because usually Democrats are just like, black people are going to do whatever we say. That's how it's always been. That's how it'll always be. Not anymore. Not this election cycle. It's not going to be like that. They're going to be very torn. They're going to be doing their own research, thinking their own way, and voting the way that makes sense for them and their community, as they should. Now, Biden, the Democratic Party, they need Taylor Swift's fan base. They need these young white women. Obviously, it's a mix of women, but large base of white women. They're trying to tap into the football, I want to say like country-ish, because Taylor Swift used to be very country, so she had that fan base. Then she went off on this like kind of like demonic kind of realm of things with her music. If you ever watch one of her concerts, it gets very weird, but she still has a lot of those same followers. They're trying to tap into that. That's the reason why they would do this. So to think that it's just this wild conspiracy is so nonsensical. Anyway, let's get into some very weird stuff. Okay, that was some factual stuff. Now let's hear some weird stuff. Listen to this. Oh, come on.
Paramount is behind it.
Okay.
All right, let's get a little bit deeper. The NFL, there is a clause in there saying that they can persuade the way a game goes for entertainment purposes. The broadcasting channel of the Super Bowl this year is CBS Sports. CBS is owned by Paramount. Now everybody knows how the writer's strike was going on and everything, but Paramount CEO said Paramount users wouldn't even notice a difference.
Okay.
Are you following?
I mean, kind of, but not really.
It's okay. Let me cook. Shortly after the CEO of Paramount said that, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift meet. It's been covered on every major platform, every Paramount platform, and we've been updated about their life. The script is getting into the NFL, and they want to do a love story where pop star meets All-American NFL football player, and then they win the Super Bowl.
Bro.
And Paramount is all behind it, bro.
I don't know. Who would write some bullshit ass story like that?
People at Paramount.
We don't even need that story, bro. We already have High School Musical. Like, what the fuck?
High School Musical?
Come on, bro. The greatest sports story and a singer and the love story. Bro, come on now.
But a funny video near the end, of course, but a lot of what he's saying is actually true. It's very, very weird. I myself have never thought, like, if you're going to look at politics and be like, oh, it's never on the up and up, how do you look at sports and think that billions of dollars are just like, roll of the dice, let's see if my team wins? That's not happening. That's just my thought. I've always thought there's something going on with sports. But to think about Paramount and all of the companies that are owned by Paramount, and they're all pushing this story, because they have been. I don't watch sports, and I knew that Taylor Swift was going to football games. I don't even like sports, and I knew. I don't like Taylor Swift, and I knew. It made no sense. That means they're really pushing it hard. So that's just an interesting one. But this last one, this goes into the more demonic, weird type of realm. Here, listen to this one. This is a weird one.
Know what Super Bowl this is? It's 58. You know what 5 plus 8 is?
13.
It's Taylor Swift's album called 13.
Yo! Dang!
You guys know the date of the Super Bowl?
It's the 11th.
Of?
February.
11 plus 2.
Yeah.
Yo!
Who are they playing?
The 49ers.
It's 4 plus 9.
Dude, come on. 13.
Just saying. What seed are the 49ers?
The 1 seed.
What seed are the Chiefs?
The 2 seed.
No, the 3.
1 and 3.
13. This dude is so stupid.
Where's Taylor Swift coming from? She's coming from Tokyo to the Super Bowl.
What does that mean?
A flight from Tokyo to Las Vegas.
It's 13 hours.
It's 13 hours.
This is
And I'm not even kidding.
What the fuck?
You know how many games Taylor Swift has been to?
13?
12.
This is the 13?
The Super Bowl will be the 13.
Is this all true? Or
Yeah, no, this is all for real. You guys know what Super Bowl?
Very weird. Very, very weird. And I'm releasing this episode February 13th. Bang. Bang. Look at your phone right now. You're on 13% battery. No, I'm kidding. Unless you are. If you are, comment. Put it in the comments. It'd be crazy. But yeah, just some weird stuff. Weird stuff. And there's more stuff like that as you look into it. And who knows? Who knows? I'm on the side of why wouldn't a political party, right or left, want to have access to somebody who has access to millions of people? Like, that's just like an out of control theory. Like, no, politics doesn't work like that. We don't want access to people. We don't want access to voters. No. That's why we leave the border open. We don't need Americans. Like, what are you talking about? Of course it works like that. So, I just wanted to show you guys that. Like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know what you think in the comments. And other than that, I'm out.